Happy Valentine's Day. I know this is a day to celebrate those that we love, but I'm going to talk about something my husband does that drives me crazy. It's something that we bicker over frequently. He has this habit of not looking at me when I'm talking to him. He's usually either watching TV or, more likely, he's playing a game on his phone or browsing Facebook. Have I mentioned this drives me crazy? It drives me crazy. His lack of eye contact is a nonverbal form of communication that tells me he isn't really listening to what I'm saying. So, what is nonverbal communication? Nonverbal communication is the physical messages that we send each other. So this can be the way that we stand, eye contact or lack of, our body positioning, the way that we dress, or even things like seating arrangements and the way we furnish our offices. Why is this important to organizational behavior? Actually, nonverbal communication has significant impact on organizational behavior. Because of this, managers really need to become consciously aware of the nonverbal signals they send and receive. These nonverbal signals can impact employees' perceptions of others. It can impact hiring decisions, work attitudes, and even turnover. Harvey Mackay, a syndicated business columnist, tells us that words whisper, body language roars. That's pretty powerful. So there are 4 basic kinds of nonverbal communication. They are body movements and gestures. So our movements, like how we lean, and the gestures we make, like pointing, provide our audience with nonverbal information that can either add to or take away from the communication process. An open body position like leaning forward, for example, communicates warmth, openness, closeness, and availability. On the other hand, a gesture like folded arms or crossed legs can signal defensiveness. Touch. Touch is a powerful nonverbal cue. People tend to touch those that they like. Touch can show warmth and affection, but it can also be interpreted differently than the sender intends. So it's really important to be cognizant of the message you're sending if you're using touch. Facial expressions. Facial expressions have the ability to convey a powerful message. For us in the US, smiling typically conveys warmth, happiness, or friendship, and frowning represents dissatisfaction or anger. It's important, though, that facial expressions be used appropriately. For instance, if you're smiling at someone who's discussing a sad event in their life to you, it might look like you're not taking them seriously. Eye contact. As discussed before, this is a strong nonverbal cue. Appropriate eye contact regulates the flow of communication by signaling the beginning and end of a conversation. It also reflects your interest and attention, conveys emotion, and even relates to the type of relationship between communicators. Like all nonverbal forms of communication, these 4 forms of communication are not consistent across cultures, so it's also really important to be aware of cultural norms when conversing with someone from another country. So how would I handle nonverbal language in a leadership role? Well, first, I think that being aware of our nonverbal language is important no matter what role we play in our positions. Communications experts estimate that 65% of every conversation is partially interpreted through nonverbal communication. 65%, that's a lot. So to avoid confusion, that means it's crucial that our nonverbal signals are consistent with our verbal ones. As a leader, I think it's even more important to not only be aware of our nonverbal signals, but it's critical that they're used appropriately to convey the message that we're trying to send. So to do this effectively, I've taken notes from the authors in our book on positive nonverbal actions that help communication. Among others, they suggest that we maintain appropriate eye contact, smile, and show interest, keep voices low and relaxed, and be aware of our facial expressions. They also suggest avoiding things like closing our eyes, tapping our feet, using an unpleasant tone, or fidgeting. Communication is a skill that everyone, no matter what role we play, should work to improve. Excellent communication skills will serve us in all facets of our lives. Being aware of the nonverbal signals we send is a great way to improve the way that we interact with others. So I'm curious to hear what you all think of nonverbal communication. Have you had an experience where nonverbal signals were not sent or maybe not received properly? Has it ever impacted an interaction that you've had with others? Thanks for watching. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.